Okay, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to work with different types of vector file in ArcMap. As you know, we have three types of vector data: polyline, polygon, and points. Today, I'm gonna give you an overview of how to work with them and also how to create them. In order to add our datasets, we're going to add data. I'm gonna add let's say a shapefile. This is a shapefile and in a polygon. And so I'm gonna show you another polyline dataset. You can see these are the rivers in the format of polyline, and another one is point that we are working with them in ArcGIS. Okay, as you know, the study area is big. In order to work on specific part, I'm gonna select, for example, this area, so I can deselect it if I want to choose another one. And also here we have identify, and we can use it in order to click on, and we can see different types of information of a specific place. In order to there's another way also. We can use open table, and if we know the name of a study area that we are targeting, we can select here and we can do the further process of our work. For example, you can see here one file selected, and in order to export this and from the whole dataset, there are different types of ways that I can use. For this purpose, I'm going to right click on the data, and from data I have export data, and as you can see here, the data frame mentioned to the targeted data that I selected, and output that I can define. For example, I'm gonna put on my desktop the name of the region. I'm so sorry, I have to name it area. As you can see, the format is shapefile and save. Here it's asking, do you want to add as a layer? I'm saying yes, and it's added as a new layer of my whole data. We can also do the same thing for other data, for example, waterways and also points. If we want to work on a specific data, and also from a table, I can do some further process on it. In order to estimate the area of this polygon, I can come to the add field. I'm gonna add a new field, name it area. We have different sets of type, and short integer or long for numbers, flat for flat, text and date. I'm gonna use double because it's very good for a large amount of number, and in order to estimate area for this polygon, I'm gonna right click on the field and calculate geometry, and here it's saying that From property, we can see that we cannot estimate area for this one. It's disabled, as you can see. It's because of coordinate system, and we need to put in a, let's say, right coordinate system. The time we do it, it's gonna be active for us. In order to do this, there's options, and for name define projection. But first, I can check from properties. It's coordinate system. It's WGS as 1984. Imagine we don't know the coordinate system in UTM zone of the study area. We can use this one. We can use Google and Google it. For example, Italian UTM zone. It's located in 32 and 33. In order to define new projection, I'm going to use define projection, that is for Shapefile. Again, I have to import the data that I'm interested in changing its coordinate system. Here in tools, we can find different types of information regarding these tools. In order to change, I'm going to use this one. Here we can search if we know the exact zoom. However, also we can do it from projected coordinate systems and UTM, WGS 1984. We are in Northern Hemisphere, and zone 32 for our purpose is gonna be fine. There's another way. It's related to add coordinate system. If you have a file that is correctly coordinated, we can use from here. We can import the file and it's automatically adapted to our new file. Okay, it's gonna take a long while and it's changed. Now if I go to the table, I can see my field and use calculate geometry, and now it's enabled, and I can define the units. For example, I'm gonna put on square kilometers. Okay, as you can see, it's calculated. We can do the same thing for also for polyline and other polygons that we have in a large area or small area. There are a lot of tools that we can use them to edit our files in ArcGIS, and depends on your need, we can do this. These are the datasets that I told you before about this, and in order to further process of my datasets, we can go to the properties Here we will see different options. For example, source. There are a lot of information regarding the polygon that we opened for, coordinate system, whatever its type. Selections related to the color. When you select the data, we can choose the color and also outline width, outline color. It's gonna be in blue, for example. If I apply and click on OK, I will see the difference when I'm gonna select that one. When I select the data, a specific area, we can see that it's gonna change to blue. Color, again, I'm gonna back to the properties and displays and other options. Depends on your idea, you can change the field in order to show you based on name, source, or whatever different information that your data has. Transparent give you this possibility to decrease its transparency in order to show you the data that's beyond your shapefile. For example, here I'm gonna add the raster data of my study area. It's related to land use, land cover. In order to go to my data, I'm gonna use zoom to layer, and as you can see, it's added. Imagine that I want to see my land cover land use datasets with the shapefile that I have. I'm gonna use transparency 40%. As you can see, I can see it. If we increase, it's gonna be more transparent. Depends on usage. This is very good option for when you want to visualize your maps. Very useful option in ArcGIS. And also another options like properties that I can change the color, outline, and also its outline width, outline color, depends on yours, your need, as I said before. I'm going back to the default or blue color. Again, I'm going back to properties in order to continue. The most important, one of the most important one is symbology. And symbology is related to giving our maps a good color. For example, single symbol is related to the current view that we have. In a single color, you can see your data categories. You can categorize your data sets, depends on your need. You can use unique value or different types of values at the same time. For example, here I'm going to choose name in order to add all my data sets, add all values that are going to be useful. And we can see the name of all states of my polygon, and from this I can give it color. If I apply, we can see the change. As I said before, it's very useful options for visualization. And also we have the other options related to quantities, related to data, that quantitative data, and the different options that we can use. We can see them as a bar or different charts, and also this one. These two last ones are related to when you have data, for example, population growth or population number. You can use symbols. They're very useful. And also the other option is field information of the data. Define query that I will show you in next videos. Label, another important one. When you want to show the name of your categories on the map, depends on your field type that you are choosing. For example, name. Here you can see text, symbols, and also its size. For example, I put 16, bold, I applied one. Now it's not active. In order to activate it, I'm gonna use right click and label features. We can see the name of all states that are visible here. Again, I'm gonna back to properties. Other options related to symbol, and in symbol I can work or improve the visuality of my map using different options. For example, I'm gonna go edit symbols and general formation, formatted text, advanced. I can add a background to my text, also color, whatever I want I can do here, and it's very useful. We have the other three options: joins and relates, time, and HTML. Symbol or label are the most important parts of these properties. And so here we have several options like hand zoom in, zoom out, or I have a full screen of my environment I can have. In the down bottom we have the other option, drawing, that helps us to create another shapefiles if we don't have the original. For example, here we have different types of options that we can choose. For example, polygon, rectangle, whatever. I want to choose or create a shapefile for this area. I'm gonna come here, convert graphics to features. Again, I'm gonna give it, let's say, an output and the name. For example, a square. The format is shapefile, and again, it's asking me to add as a layer. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes, and I can remove the drawed files that I had before. I can do the same thing for the other one. For example, I want to create a point. The same process that I did before. Again, convert graphic to features. Again, and name, and save again. And so I can do this for polyline. But it's very useful way in order to create your own data sets. So we can work a little with the point properties. Here we have a search. We can, for example, put electrical poles. If I search, I can use this symbol for my point. It's it's a little small. I can increase the size. As I said, these are very useful for visualization. Okay, after creating these, there is, as I said, a lot of options that we can work with different types of vector files. Another one is related to our catalog that is very useful in creating datasets. In order to do this, I'm going to click on our catalog. Here I will show you how to create point, polygon, and polyline. I choose the target patch for me. I'm going to use desktop. Click on the folder, and as you can see, we have different options here. I can create a folder. I'm going to name it as a shapefile. I want to add some other file data into my folder. I'm going to start with shapefile. I'm going to add a polygon. Imagine we have a lake or other variables that we want to digitize them. This option is very useful. Feature type, it's going to be polygon here, but we can use point, polygon. And the other options should be your coordinate system. I'm going to add it again. As we used before, as I said before, we can adapt the coordinate system from a file. Here I'm gonna use one of the file, and we can see the coordinate system here that is gonna be adapted to the file that to the data that I'm gonna create. Okay, in order to activate this polygon that we created, I'm gonna use editor, but it's very good options for editing our shapefiles. It's not active in all the ArcGIS environment. In order to activate it, there's a simple way that we can do it, and it's going to be right click on the screen, and you can see different toolbars for you, and I'm gonna select editor. I'm gonna work on this environment, I mean on my land use land cover data. Again, I'm gonna start editing polygon that I created before. Continue. And in order to activate the polygon that I created, I'm gonna use create features, but the other option will be found here. If I click on it, I can see the polygon that I created before from our catalog. I'm gonna click on it, and now my cursor is ready for digitizing. I'm gonna give my data a good color from symbology, classify it. Okay, I want to digit in a specific area. Try to do it as much as precise. And if you zoom in, by zoom in and zoom out, you can do it very precisely. But here I'm gonna show you, because of this I'm not paying much attention to do it precisely, but depends on your need, you can do it as much as precise. Okay, for the final one, double click and it's created. Again, another polygon that I'm creating here. In order to see our result, we can save the edits that we had before, or we can stop editing. And if I go to the attribute table of my data, I can see two classes that I created before. We can name them if we want. Again, I'm gonna back to our catalog. I want to design a point. The same process for before. And the data that I created added to the legend table of contents. By easily start editing from editor, I can also create some points. Again, click on point and my cursor is ready for creating some points. Again, I'm gonna back to attribute table and you can see 2 points that I created, save or stop editing. For the last one, I'm gonna create a polyline from our catalog. Again, right click, Shapefile and polyline. These are very useful tools when you want to work with different types of classes. For example, polyline is very useful for digitizing river, roads, and etc. The same process that I did before. Right now it's going to courses change for digitizing. I'm digitizing. So I'm creating a polyline. As I said before, it's very useful for digitizing river, roads, etc. Okay, here I show you how to use a catalog for our digitizing, creating. So from editor, we can do some addition on our data. There is other options that we can, let's say, use them. For example, I'm gonna work a little with other tools that are available in this editor. For example, I'm gonna turn on editor. I'm gonna move a little my polygon that I created before. In order to do this, if you know the XY, based on your need, you can, let's say, change its position, move to the right position that you are interested. And so we have the other options that are available here. For example, I'm gonna work a little on polygon that I created before. I'm gonna add a buffer to my polyline. For the first, I have to select it. The time I select the buffer is active for me. Here, because we have not, let's say, defined its unit, maybe it doesn't work, as you can see. But we can use another options for this purpose. The unit is not defined. Because of this, we have another problem with buffering this data. Instead of this, I can use search. Type buffer. And input feature, it's gonna my polyline. Again, the output. And also we have a unit. I'm gonna put on, you can see we have meters, kilometer, millimeter. Depends on your need, you can choose. I'm gonna put on meter. Define the output also. 100 meter, it's gonna be okay. Side of it saying that your buffer would be in both sides or left or right. You can change. Or it's gonna be flat or round, and also you can change, depends on your need. Methods that it's gonna be applied on. It's gonna take while to be applied, and as you can see, it's around in both direction, right and left. It's a little too much, but we can, let's say, edit it. Depends on you can do this. These are specific parts of ArcGIS related to geoprocessing of the data, and they have provided a lot of options for editing, let's say, vector datasets. If I click on it, I can see buffer, clip, intersect, or whatever we are interested in to do this. For buffer, I show you how it works. We can use here, or we can use search in order to find them. Clip is a very useful options for vector datasets. Imagine I'm gonna clip one part of the, let's say, this map. I did it before, and because of this, we can select and export this part. I'm gonna give it a name. Add as a layer. Okay. I'm gonna clip, for example, waterways for this region. In order to do this, I'm gonna use clip. Input feature would be the file that I'm gonna clip from that waterways. Also here I'm gonna put the scanning for my study area, and the output that you can define and give it a name. I'm gonna click on OK, and it's gonna be clipped. Now we have waterways for just one state. It's gonna be Tuscany. We can do some edits on the data that we created. Change the size of polyline. The next tool would be Intersect. Again, I'm gonna go to help, show how it's work. It's gonna clip in a specific area from your data. You can input your features, and again it's working as the same one. And union, it's gonna integrate to different data. As you can see from help, it's also very useful option. I want to show you the merge tool and its efficiency. Imagine we have this file. I'm gonna use merge in order to unique all the states together. I can use merge and input the whole file and the output I have to define. Now we have a unique file of the country, and we can also do some edit on the data. For example, I'm gonna integrate two states together. In order to do this, again, editor is very useful. And if it's gonna, the courses is ready for select, I'm gonna select using my cursor. Again, I'm gonna back to editor, and it's saying that you want to merge these two states. I'm saying yes, and you can see we have a merged state. If you want to save it, you can use save. I'm not gonna save this edit. And for the final one of this geoprocessing, I'm gonna show you how to use this all. As you can see from help, we have a different separate parts for one category. For example, here, these all help us to unify this category into one separate file. I mean column or whatever you want. For example, I'm going to show its efficiency. This is a raster file that I have. I'm going to convert it to polygon. For this, I'm going to use raster to polygon conversion. Choosing my input file. Depends on your field. You can change it based on which field you want to convert it, and the output. Okay. As you can see, it's converted to polygon. I'm gonna show you something specific. We have 4 classes in raster, but 5 classes, I'm sorry. But here you can see we have the same class in separate row, and sometimes it's very tiring, boring when we want to work with a file that has different types of these rows. In order to unify them and make them a unique file, dissolve is a good option. When I'm going to it, input feature, it's gonna be the raster to polygon file that I created before, and here is asking which field you are interested to dissolve. I'm gonna say create code, because you can see that different types of classes has different rows. Again, you can choose the output, and okay, now we have a dissolved file. If I open the attribute table, we have just 5 classes. This is the efficiency of dissolve, and it's very useful for working with these types of vector files that they have a lot of separate classes. Okay, in general, I can conclude that in this tutorial I show you how to work with different types of vector file: polygon, polyline, and point, how to create, how to digitize, and also how to edit them. Hope this is gonna be useful for your purpose, and thank you very much for your attention.